okay? Just for a minute, because I would like also for speaker to learn about who you are, not just in a writing, but in a face recognition, okay? So if you can open your camera, I will appreciate that, okay? So we are going to have that. Yeah, I think that we are pushing, and so everybody will learn about this particular group, okay? Yeah, as I was telling you, Celine, we have 5 science teacher, K-12, okay, science teacher. We already talked to them, okay, and we have 15, our other 10 K-12 students, K-12. So that's the group that we are going to measure impact with the program. And the idea of the program is just to prepare them for the summer, okay? But since they are in this program, and my objective in this program is just to teach them how to do research, so we are going to go through the methodology, you see, and they are going to put together a program, not a program, a project using MIT App Inventor. So they will present that in May, okay? In May 10, we will have a presentation, what they have done for the semester, okay? And then the 15 people, they will travel to MIT for the 4 weeks in June and July. So these guys will be really prepared for that particular training at the MIT, okay? Because we are going to cover almost everything, you see, and they had to develop a project, and they had to develop a poster, and they had to present the poster. Everything is going to be in English, okay? So that's the main component. And since that was my original way of presenting, because we are doing some other stuff, you see, some of the students at the beginning of my program, I present them a pre-test about the scientific methodology, so how much they know. And then, of course, they are not going to answer everything, and we will have the same post-test at the end. So they will be evaluated, fully evaluated, you see, with what have learned in the project, right? And that's something really good. This particular one, since we are the partnership with MIT, well, the project is going to be just about application and MIT App Inventor. Okay, that will be the limitation for this particular group. In the other group I have, they can just do research in almost any field in STEM. Okay, yeah. So that will be real. So I really appreciate if you can provide them with the connectivity, you see, with the databases that you already have at your group. Since this is a research project that we are running, I don't give them, you see, every material to the student. They have to look for, okay, the material. Because that's the way you do research. You don't have a mentor that is going to say, do this, do that. No, they have to have their own ideas, you see, and their own capability to do research. So it's a search what they had to do. And we use ChatGPT for this past year. I have using ChatGPT with the student. And almost everybody learned. They already know about how GPT. So the only focus at this time will be about the project, okay? They had to do a project and searching for material to support what they are going to do during the semester. So that's about what my Saru Research Academy is all about. Okay, all right. So to the audience, let me introduce you to Selim. He is from MIT. We have been talking, and he has been working for this particular group at MIT for about 6 years. Okay, and he is the lead person, okay, in the MIT App Inventor educational team okay? So he knows everything what's going on at MIT. And he personally is a former, you see, K-12 mathematical teacher. And he's telling me he's from Istanbul, Turkey. So that's a beautiful city, all right? Absolutely, okay? So he's going to introduce us to the App Inventor project at MIT. He's going to give us all the details, what is going on at MIT with this project. I know a little bit about, okay, since I was present in the previous symposium they have last year in July at MIT. So thank you very much, Selim, for being with us and be kind to share your knowledge, okay, with this community in Puerto Rico. So see, we are a community of students and science, math teachers, and that's what we are going to have. Okay, the mic is yours.
Super. Thank you, Professor. Huge pleasure, everybody. Very nice to meet all of you. So I'm going to quickly share my screen in a second. I just want to make sure my voice comes through. When I was listening to the professor, sometimes the voice goes on and off. So feel free to interrupt me, repeat anything. I don't know how the connectivity is going to be this morning, but I will definitely do my best, okay? And let me share my screen here. Okay, and let me see if there's a way I can also see everybody. Okay, so I think I can see everybody here. Super. Can you see my screen?
Yes, for my side.
Beautiful. Okay. So I'm going to quickly, all right. So as the professor said, I'm from the MIT App Inventor group. Our motto is changing the world one app at a time. My name is Selim Tezel. I'm the education team lead for App Inventor. Now, the first thing I want to quickly tell you, give you is a little bit of history, how App Inventor came to be. I believe especially younger students are familiar with the program called Scratch. It is also an MIT product. It was created at Lifelong Kindergarten by Professor Mitch Resnick. So Professor Hal Abelson in 2007 had a sabbatical from MIT, and he went to Google. And his aim was, he was aware how popular Scratch is becoming. And he basically wanted to create an environment, a coding environment, which is basically block-based. Everything is drag and drop. A block-based environment for developing mobile apps. So that's the sort of like new flavor he wanted to add to the block-based language projects. And in Google, he found a number of collaborators. And in a couple of years, they created the sort of the foundation for App Inventor. After about 2 years, the project, so Google gave the project to MIT, and it became open source. And today, we are a fairly large group there. You're seeing almost all of our members on the left, staff members. We have about 9 staff members, 2 administrators. We are serving something in the order of 1.5 million to 2.5 million people per month. And believe it or not, this entire project is run by 5 development members. So 5 people are serving that many people every month. And then on the right, you see some of our graduate students, undergraduate students, and then we have a number of advisors from either former employees of the App Inventor project or from different universities and organizations. Now, towards the end of the discussion we're going to have today, I'm going to actually do a demonstration how App Inventor works, but I just wanted to show you how the platform looks like. So the platform has 2 parts. The first part is called the designer. This is where you're designing the application you're creating for your mobile app. And everything is drag and drop. So for example, I go to here where it says the user interface. I can, for example, grab a button and drag and drop it, and I will have a button component. Once I have a component, I can click on it, and I can click on its properties and change the properties, as you'll see in a bit, how I can do that. But this is where you basically design the look and feel of your application. Once the design is finished, that's when you go to the blocks interface by clicking on this little button here. And the blocks interface is, again, drag and drop, and it basically allows you to form logical relationships between components. So when I press this button, this should happen, etc. The beautiful thing about this type of a language is there is really no syntax to worry about. Those of you who have done programming in Java, Python, etc., text-based languages, you know that if you forgot even like a semicolon, etc., the program sometimes crashes. You just don't have, you have all kinds of consequences. It is practically impossible to have that situation in block-based languages like in Scratch and App Inventor. Now, a little bit more history. Our project goes all the way back to this MIT legend called, his name is Seymour Papert. Seymour Papert was the sort of like professor, teacher of both Mitch Resnick from the Scratch project, also Hal Abelson, RPI. And he basically invented this idea of constructionism in education. And the idea is sort of like best summarized by this quotation from him that I'm just going to quickly read. He said, "Children learn best when they are actively engaged in constructing something that has personal meaning to them, be it a poem, a robot, a sandcastle, or a computer program." So he basically wants children to invent knowledge and make sure that the knowledge they're inventing is actually relevant to their lives, so that it is something that they will value and they will sort of build on top of. So it's a completely radical worldview, especially in 1960s. And to this day, this philosophy is a big part of MIT's philosophy. Now, App Inventor by numbers. So we are all over the world in, I think, 200 plus countries. The top countries you can see there, US comes at the top with 11% of the user base, but followed by Taiwan, which is a tiny country. That's almost as many people there as in US, which is unbelievable. Mexico, etc. Last year, something very interesting happened. Saudi Arabia was way at the bottom of the list. It wasn't even, I think, a percentage. We're still trying to understand what's happening, but in 1 year, Saudi Arabia rose to sort of like the top 10, 12. Now is 3.1% of the user base. So probably some university started the initiative. They started running hackathons, etc. So the project is also very popular right now in Saudi Arabia. We have right now 21 million registered users. And since the inception, about 101 million projects have been created. So our daily usage goes, around 137,000 users. The monthly users is about 1.5 million, but last 2 months, for some reason, we're trying to understand, it was 2.5 million. So something is going on that we are also trying to figure out what is the reason for that. The platform has been recognized by EdTech Top 40 project. Basically, it sort of ranks different educational technology projects in the world, and we were in the top 40 that they have chosen. Now, our mission can be summarized in a couple of sentences that I'm going to share with you right now. The first one is the vision of Hal Abelson, our PI, our primary investigator, which is the democratization of the app development environment. Mobile app development, before App Inventor, was really under the jurisdiction of very, very highly skilled programmers, and very few people in the world knew how to build apps for mobile devices. So we wanted to create a platform where this process is democratized from very young children all the way to very old folks. Everybody's able to create the apps that they wish. The second thing is we're trying to counterbalance some trends that is happening in media, especially social media these days. Kids are getting all kinds of influences from Twitter, Instagram, etc. And a lot of the time, the influences altered the children's self-perception in a negative way. They see all these people having fun and looking wonderful, and they start disliking their body image, etc. So we are interested in creating tools that positively change young people's perception of themselves. First of all, we want them to come out of this consumer mentality and move towards a creator mentality, so they can actually create things. It's not just about consuming products. And the other one is from inefficacy to empowerment. We want people, young children especially, to start feeling empowered and that they have some control over what they're able to create. And we want to do this in a very easy and obvious platform. Lastly, and very, very important to Hal, this is one of his vision, is promoting computational action. Those of you who are teaching computer science, you probably heard a lot about computational thinking. But what Hal believes, it's not enough to have this computational thinking at the back of your mind. You must convert that to action. So computational action basically is using the power of computing to make a meaningful social impact, to do something for your community. And I'm going to give some examples of these, how people have done this in the past. So the first example is from India, from a slum in Mumbai, India, called Dharavi. So in 2014, a nonprofit was founded, and basically very young girls, they got together after school, and they created apps that address some need in their communities. For example, organizing garbage collection, or teaching math, English, Hindi, creating apps for women's safety, coordinating water collection, etc. And Google noticed this, and they were doing all of this with App Inventor, and Google noticed this and gave them the prestigious RISE Award in 2014. Another example is from Fresno, Texas. It is at a middle school, and in this school, there was a blind student, and 6 girls who are classmates of the student wanted to create an app for the student so that he can navigate in the school without getting lost. So the app would tell, to go to the English class, do this, do that. So this navigation app was recognized in Verizon's Innovative App Challenge and won a top prize. And in 2014, President Obama invited the students to the White House and talk with them during a science fair. Our probably most famous innovator is Gitanjali Rao. You may have heard of her. At the age of 12, she became very interested in trying to solve a lead poisoning disaster that was happening in Flint, Michigan. And what she did is she created a device with nanotubes and etc. And it's incredible that she already knew how she could put this together at the age of 12. And she used App Inventor to connect the device to a mobile app, so that when the device is taking measurements from water, the user will be alerted if the lead level is high or not. She was recognized by Time magazine when she was 15 as the Kid of the Year. This is the first time Time decided to create a category. They have, Person of the Year, etc. This is the first time they had Kid of the Year, and Gitanjali won that year. And interestingly, she was applying all over the country, and many schools were very interested in her, including MIT. And she ended up at MIT. And when we asked her, like, how did you finally make your decision? She shared with us that, having the App Inventor team at MIT was crucial in her decision. So she wanted to be close to our team. We regularly give what we call appathons. Appathons are basically hackathons in which people are creating applications, mobile applications using App Inventor. So here are some examples from different countries that participate. India has been constantly the #1 participation in these competitions, followed by United States. And then the age group, you can see a graph of that. We had participants as young as 4, which is incredible. I mean, at 4, you barely know, how to read something. So they must have been working with, their parents, creating an app. So we had a 4-year-old participant all the way to 84 years old. And here you see a division of gender. Normally, it is 1-to-2 ratio. But it is, it's been getting better and better every year. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the curricula that we have. Everything, by the way, we produce is available on our website that I'm going to share with you in a minute. And it is completely free. You don't ever have to pay anything for our products. So we work with Hong Kong. And there's a charity there called the Hong Kong Jockey Club Charities Trust. And they wanted to use App Inventor and build curricula for the entire primary school population on the island. So we started with a grade 4 Scratch project. So grade 4 is entirely based on Scratch projects that we developed. And then grades 5 and 6 is App Inventor. We started with about 32 schools with 21,000 students, 112 teachers. And then in phase 2, it expanded 5-fold to 150 schools plus, etc. And now the Education Bureau in Hong Kong is making this a requirement for the entire primary school population. So some of the curricula we have, and those of you who are going to be coming to visit us at MIT, you'll do quite a bit of these projects with us. For example, students learn how to create a musical app, like a piano app, or creating a variation of or a mixture of musical instruments they can create a little orchestra with. There are projects where you create games like a maze game, and by tilting your phone, the ball moves towards a target. We have projects where you're using the map feature, the Google Map feature, and do some kind of like a treasure hunting or navigation. Other projects like art projects. At the end of the efforts with Hong Kong, we published a book, and Gitanjali Rao, I just mentioned a few minutes ago, she was kind to write the foreword for this book. It basically contains a lot of the projects that we did in Hong Kong in a book format with very nice graphics, etc. So this is available in Amazon. It should be quite readable and enjoyable. Our other collaboration is with a group called YR Media. They used to be known as Youth Radio. Some of you might be familiar. in the US, there's a radio program called NPR, National Public Radio. And youth radio is similar to this, except it is entirely run by young people, mostly high school students, maybe early college. So we had a collaboration with them, and we got an NSF grant, and the project was basically something like this. So the youth radio folks, the YR Media folks, would create an article, a story. For example, in this case, they interviewed an immigrant family in the US. And basically, article talks how the daughter was constantly translating for the parents, English back to Spanish, etc., and how challenging this was for the family. So there was a very nice article to read about this. And then the App Inventor project was charged by creating a tutorial that somehow links to the story. So we have a project, we have a tutorial in which we literally in 20 minutes show people how they can create an English-Spanish translator, creating, putting buttons and text boxes, translator components, etc. So in about half an hour, basically you end up creating a translation app that could be very helpful for a family like that. So this is what the project looks like. In the second phase of our project with YR Media, we shifted our focus on artificial intelligence. This second phase was called Outsmarting AI. And for example, a project there that we developed is the YR Media. They wrote an article called "Could Your Next Therapist Be Your Phone?" And what we did is we created a tutorial that allows people to create an app where basically the app acts as the therapist. The version of the therapist, of course, this actually, by the way, predates ChatGPT and all of these incredible tools now. This is based on 1960s ELIZA project. ELIZA was the first attempt. It was created by an MIT professor in the 60s, Professor Weizenbaum, and it was the first attempt to use machine to act as a therapist. Now, what is interesting, the interesting story about this, even at the first attempt, so Professor Weizenbaum wanted to see if this is, it's a good product. So he asked his secretary to, use this tool to see what she thinks. And the secretary started very casually. And then after about 5-10 minutes, she asked Professor to step outside the room. And when the professor said, "What's going on?" she said she wants some privacy. So even at that very elementary version of the therapist spot, it was already beginning to affect people and give them some good results. Another project we did was it was based on their article called "Can You Teach AI to Dance?" So what we did is we used PoseNet capability from Google, where you can, in the app, track the skeletal body parts of a person moving. And in the app, you had a system where the app was able to recognize if the dancer is doing certain moves, and then it was giving some, points if the moves were made. So it was an interesting way of merging, this article with some AI technology. Other AI-related projects we had, one of them was face filters for using face mesh, again by Google. You could track facial landmarks, and just like on Instagram, etc., you could have these, whiskers or cat ears, etc. So this was one project, face mesh. Another one was about image recognition. We have a program called Personal Image Classifier, which is very similar to Google's Teachable Machine. And in our tutorial, we teach basically the machine how to play peekaboo with you. You know, like you close your face or open your face, and based on how the image, the machine recognizes your face, the baby in the picture either cries or smiles. So it's like a peekaboo, but you're playing with the machine. We have other things like a rock, paper, scissors game. You play this against the artificial intelligence. And what is incredible is after a few rounds, the machine constantly is able to beat you. I was very surprised with this because when I play rock, paper, scissors, I always assume I play it randomly. I never thought that I would have patterns, but the machine watches you and understands how you're playing the game, and it always starts beating you, which is quite remarkable. A big topic these days is reinforcement learning. So we have just published a couple of months ago a project in which we are basically simulating reinforcement learning as if you're taming a dog. So based on the commands you're giving the dog, sit or shake hands, if the dog does or doesn't do the action, you reward the dog, good boy, no doggy. And based on that, the dog starts learning, dog representing the artificial intelligence, learns how it should be behaving. And then we have the image bot. I'll talk about that in a second, where we are using OpenAI's DALL-E interface to create, based on a prompt, creating images like kitten with wings. What would a kitten with wings look like? And an image comes up. Another project we have is a collaboration with Amazon's Future Engineers program. It turns out that it is possible to program Alexa devices using App Inventor. And I don't know if you heard, but for the Artemis project that NASA is planning, they're planning to send to the moon people, again, a second round from the 60s and 70s. And because the astronauts are going to be very busy, they want everything to be voice driven. Like the astronaut is going to give a command, and the Alexa on board is going to be able to, respond to the requests or answer questions or, do some functions about the ship, etc. So this was our introduction to voice user interfaces. And we have a number of projects. One of them, for example, is with your mobile phone, you're able to communicate via the cloud with an Alexa device. So you could say something like, oh, I arrived safely, to Amsterdam. And then that goes to the cloud. And then your relative at home from an Alexa device is able to capture this message, and vice versa. They can speak to Alexa and then it will go to your phone. So that was a really fun couple of years we spent on this project. Something you might be aware of is now a big deal at MIT. As code.org has an hour of code in which every year, I think around December, 1 hour everywhere in the world, people stop and they devote 1 hour to coding. We have such a project, but it's called Day of AI. We ask people to spend a day on AI activities, and we have developed curriculum for this. This past year, this project became a nonprofit, so it actually moved outside MIT, even though they're using still our curriculum, and we are in direct, very organic relationship with them, helping them with anything that they might need. For the high schools, we have an AP board certified course called AP Mobile CSP, Computer Science Principles course. You might be familiar with the Java version of this, and there might be other flavors of this, like Beauty and Joy of Computing, etc. So the AP Mobile CSP uses entirely App Inventor to teach students about principles of computer science with a lot of fun projects, etc. This is sort of like some old data from a couple of years ago, but at that time we had about 48,000 students and 2,600 plus teachers involved. Okay, and the course is well researched, and their direct measurable effects of the course on students, how much they want to study computer science in the future, etc. One of the most exciting projects I personally have been involved at MIT, because this was somewhat completely unexpected, is we started collaborating with Maine Department of Corrections, Maine State Department of Corrections, and we worked with a prison called Maine State Prison, and we taught them basically a very similar, App Inventor curriculum to the one that we published in the book to the prisoners. We didn't know what the reaction was going to be. We didn't know they're going to be, tough people, very difficult to work with, etc. They turned out to be some of the most appreciative, sweetest, hardest working people we ever worked with. I mean, we were absolutely amazed by this experience. And at the end of every cohort, we go there and we give them their certificates. And we have a wonderful afternoon sharing things about how we can improve the course, etc. So this is one of the most meaningful projects I have been part of as part of the App Inventor project. There are a lot of exciting stuff happening. Maybe some of you already follow our social media and may have heard about this. So about a year, maybe a little bit a year and a half ago, App Inventor, mostly following requests from groups like Technovation Competition for Girls. We wanted to put data science tools in App Inventor. So now you could have programs where you can visualize your data. You can put your data in a Google spreadsheet and access it via App Inventor. You could, study patterns. You could create regression lines, trend lines. So this is, for example, showing you a project where in the tutorial, you're studying a particular lake in Iowa, and you're basically studying the number of days of ice in that lake from like 1950s onwards. And there is an undeniable decline in the number of days of ice. Undeniable, you can see this. So even from one lake, you can see the effects of climate change. And similarly, you could study what's happening to the temperature at that lake. It's clearly rising. Now, what is amazing about these tools is once you do a regression line, you can project it into the future and ask yourself, when will there be no days of ice? And when you follow that, according to this one lake, in the year 2280, there will not be any more days of ice, which is an undeniable sort of evidence that this climate change is going to have disastrous consequences. So we have a very robust projects. We won the Tool Competition Award in data science. We just got a Day of Climate Award from MIT. So it's probably the hottest topic right now at the App Inventor project is data science. And they're developing all kinds of tools. So here's a plant project, which is very interesting. So what they did is they hook up to the plant, to the soil, some measuring devices, some sensors. And what happens is based on the moisture level, etc., you can get data if the environment is good for the plant. And what you do is you send that data to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT speaks as if it is the plant and tells you, oh, I need more water. Why are you not taking care of me? Please, give me more sunlight, etc. So it's a really brilliant way of integrating IoT, Internet of Things, with ChatGPT and AI. We have one member of our team who is completely fascinated by robotics. So he has a project in which he's studying this little robot dog and programming it with App Inventor and doing it, making it do tricks, etc. So all of these are projects we either have or are in the process of building these. Now, in the few minutes, I want to quickly show you a little bit about our latest projects in what I call generative AI with App Inventor. So I want to play you a video, and if somebody can give me a thumbs up if you can hear this in a second, because I'm not sure you can hear the sound. Otherwise, I'll start it again. But basically, in 1985, exactly 40 years ago, Steve Jobs predicted the coming of these generative AI tools like ChatGPT. So I'm just going to play you this, and this will give you a sense of some of our projects that we are working on.
Do you know who Alexander the Great's tutor was for about 14 years? You know, Aristotle. And I read this. I became immensely jealous. And I think I would have enjoyed that a great deal. And through the miracle of the printed page, I can at least read what Aristotle wrote without an intermediary. And maybe if there's a professor, they can add to that. But at least I can go directly to the source material. And that is, of course, the foundation upon which our Western civilization is built. But I can't ask Aristotle a question. I mean, I can, but I won't get an answer. And so my hope is that in our lifetimes, we can make a tool of a new kind, of an interactive kind. And so my hope is someday, when the next Aristotle is alive, we can capture the underlying worldview of that Aristotle in a computer. And someday, some student will be able to not only read the words Aristotle wrote, but ask Aristotle a question and get an answer. And that's what I hope that we can do. Do you know who
Yes.
Alex?
Super. I'm just going to quickly. Okay. So this was a vision from exactly 40 years ago. It's amazing that he could sort of imagine that we're going to have these sort of ways of capturing underlying worldview of these great people, and then have the machine talk as if it is that person. Believe it or not, that time has come. ChatGPT and Gemini and other LLMs are exactly able to do that. So we have a very, very basic introductory tutorial on our website in which you can select one of these characters or characters that you want to add to this list or replace from this list. And for example, here, somebody selected Albert Einstein. You press the button to speak and you ask a question, what career path should I follow in life? You press another button, it says get advice. And then the prompt is such that we tell ChatGPT, you are now Albert Einstein, answer this question as if Albert Einstein would answer. And out comes this really remarkably beautiful, first, quick summary of what Albert Einstein has done, and then advice as if Albert Einstein would give. So this technology is already here. Now, what is shocking is how little code does it need. So you're looking the entirety of the code that is needed to realize the dream that Steve Jobs highlighted. Everything you see on the left is sort of bookkeeping. This is sort of code that basically holds on to the images of the people, Einstein, Aristotle, etc. And then there are a couple of, voice recognition related code. but the entirety of the program is in this little block that you see here. Is called when get advice button is clicked. You're basically saying you are, in this case, Albert Einstein. Based on everything you know about Albert Einstein's life, personality, answer these questions, blah, blah, blah. So this entire code here that you see, literally a single block, allows you to sort of tap into the mind of an ancient or current thinker and give you an answer based on what we know about that person. So there are other generative AI projects that we are working on. One of them, probably we'll do this when the students come to MIT, is we teach them how to create an art environment called Digital Doodle. You can draw things, but now with the help of OpenAI's DALL-E interface, you could say, oh, create me a background. So in this case, the person wrote beach with a sun on the horizon, and then the student now is able to work on this background. Another project is, you enter the ingredients left in your fridge. So let's say you have only a few ingredients left in your fridge. You send it to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT generates you a recipe with exactly those ingredients. So that's another project that could happen. We have poetry and story generators, meme generators, fitness plan generators. So you enter your statistics, your height, weight, etc., and then your goals, and ChatGPT creates you a weekly fitness plan. You could do 100 times better therapist bot now with ChatGPT. Eliza was very elementary, but now you could have entire conversations with ChatGPT as a therapist, etc. Okay, so I'm gonna quickly get out of this. And Professor, am I correct that we have until 10 o'clock? Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Super.
If you want to go forward, that will be outstanding.
Super. I just want to do a couple of things. I want to show you our website, first of all. So if you go to our website, all the resources that we have are available on this website. So you'd go to About. There's information about, for example, frequently asked questions that you could look at. There is, you could find our team members, their biographies, etc. We used to have, and we're hoping to have again, what we call expert trainers. These are educators trained on App Inventor, but then they can represent App Inventor globally. And actually, some of them even make money giving workshops, etc. But then for educators, we have a Teach tab here, where you can find all of our curriculum. This is the Hong Kong curriculum I mentioned to you. This is the mobile CSP curriculum. This is the Internet of Things, IoT curriculum, data science curriculum. And we have a community forum where people can ask questions 24/7, and there are experts that answer those questions. This links to our tutorials page, where we have some beginner tutorials, the Youth Mobile Power series I mentioned with YR Media, artificial intelligence, data science, IoT, etc. So it has a link to our book if you wanted to order that from Amazon, etc. So it has a link for that. So it's a really wonderful resource. There are some statistics, like right now you can see here, like we had 2.3 million users this month, which is really quite amazing. We're trying to figure out how did that happen, because normally you're about 1.5 million. There's a link to our YouTube channel. So when you go to our YouTube channel, you'll see a lot of projects from very elementary and onwards. I recommend, if anybody was just trying to start with App Inventor, look at the very first tutorial we have here called Getting Started with App Inventor. It tells you how you download what is called the companion app from the Apple App Store or Google Play Store. and using that, you can start creating some projects. So back to that now. The way, and there are always like some news blogs and Twitter posts, etc. So this is a very useful page. Now, if you wanted to create an app, and I'm about to do this with you, what you do is you just click on this orange button. It says Create Apps, and it brings you to this environment. Now, it's the first time you're doing this. It might ask you a couple of questions like, are you a teacher, etc. But so let's say I wanted to do a new project here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a project. Let me just do this so that we have some images, etc. So I'm just going to show you how a new project in App Inventor looks like. So you come to this environment, and this is the designer that I mentioned to you. So you are right now in the designer. If you click on this button here, you go to the blocks where you actually create code and give logic. So why don't we just do a very simple sort of beginning? A lot of kids like the idea that they can create an app with password protection, etc. So I'm going to show you how you can do that. So let's drag and drop a button. So I have a button here. The moment I have the button selected, the properties of the button are highlighted here. And now, for example, I can select I can edit the text property, and I can say this is going to be a submit button. I do that, and the button updates itself. I might say, oh, I want the button to be, I don't know, green color. I want it to be rounded edges, etc. Okay. I can also decide how to color the background of the screen. So let's say I wanted to color that, I don't know, orange color. And we want to orient things nicely so I can center things horizontally and vertically. Okay. So I'm going to create a password interface. Basically, I grab a password text box. I drop it like that underneath there. And then you might also want to give a instruction for the user. So you might say something like, enter your password. Okay. And you could say, oh, I want it to be, bigger in size, something like that. So here is basically a password interface. Now, let me do one more thing. So it turns out that actually you could also create multiple screens. So you could create a screen like the password screen. Once you enter the correct password, it sends you to another screen. So I'm going to add another screen called screen 2. And screen 2, again, is going to be completely blank. And in that screen, so let's say I wanted to create again, a button, but this time I'm going to erase its text. I'm going to, again, orient this center. But for the button, I'm going to put the image of a cat that I have uploaded on my media. Okay? So this could be like an app where it's kind of like a stress relief app. It's private to you. You enter your password during the day. You press the button, and then you come to the picture of your cat, and you feel relaxed. I mean, a silly app, but at least you get the idea how this could work. You could even add a sound player to these. So I'm going to put a player into here, and I'm going to associate the player with a meow sound. Okay, so I have now the cat is here. Let me color again the background, something nicer, maybe magenta. And I'm going to quickly put an instruction that says something like pet the kitty. Okay. So here's basically the entirety of my designer. Screen 1 looks like this. Screen 2 looks like that. Once I am confident that I like how this thing looks like, what I can do is I can now go to the blocks and I can start giving logic to these components. I could say, if this happens, this should happen, etc. Now, in the blocks interface, there are some built-in blocks that come with every project. These are like control blocks, like if, then, else blocks, etc. Logic blocks that has all these logical operators, mathematical blocks, text blocks, etc. And advanced blocks such as, you could create your own variables, your own procedures, etc. So in addition to that, you have now some blocks that are associated with the particular components that you have imported. So I have, for example, a button here. And what I can say now is if this button is clicked, for example, we could say if the button is clicked, then if the password that we have is correct, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to the password text box text, and we're going to check if it matches the password that we want. I'm going to choose a very simple password. I'm going to say 1234. Once I chose a password, it was something like, who's a good boy or something. And I couldn't spell that when I was actually presenting. So always a good idea to choose a simple password. So if the password is equal to the correct password, then we say, go to the next screen, basically. So we say, open another screen with the screen name of screen 2. Okay? So this is the entirety of code you need for this screen 1. The design is here, the blocks here, and the blocks give logic to the components. Now you can go to the second screen, okay? And in the second screen, we are going to basically remember what the second screen does. There's a button with the cat picture on it. I actually want to put the label font to be bigger, Pat the kitty. So when the user presses the cat, pets the cat is going to make a meow sound, all right? So the logic for that is if the button is clicked, if the cat button is clicked, we basically want to say that the player should start playing the meow sound that we associated with it. All right. Now, I'm going to try to do a demo of this. I don't know if the sound is going to come through, but you can at least understand the general idea of how things work here. So I'm using a software called Visor, and the students who are going to be joining us this summer are going to learn a lot about that software. It basically allows you to project your tablet to your computer. Okay, so let me quickly click on that. So what you do is you click on the connect button here, connect menu, and then you go to AI Companion. Now your tablet will have AI Companion installed from either Apple App Store or Google Play Store, and you're going to scan this QR code, and scanning this allows you to connect your laptop to your mobile device. Okay? And then I'm going to just quickly, so it asked me to submit my password, so I'm just going to enter 1234. I press submit. I press submit. And if everything goes well, I come to the kitty. And let me see if you can hear it better. Can you hear any sound, by the way?
A little bit.
A little bit, okay. Basically, now the app is kind of silly and it's very elementary, as you can see. But this is for most students, the first time in their lives, they're going to create something like code that will have a consequence in the physical world, right? They wrote a code, and somehow because of their code, when they press a button like the kitty button, there is a consequence, there's a sound that is coming. So for most kids, this is like a brain change, like their perspective starts changing, and they start realizing that, like, wow, maybe like I have power to do things. I could make much more exciting things like than this. So it is a platform for people to build up upon. So I am going to look anything else I wanted to show you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to request if there are any questions, anything on your mind, please let me know. I apologize, the connection sometimes is not very good. I may ask you to repeat the question or speak a little bit louder. Sometimes I have difficulty catching. So if there anything that is on your mind based on the presentation or about the summer plans that we have or about MIT or anything I can answer, this is your time. You're welcome to ask anything on your mind.
Yeah, this is time for questions. And this is outstanding, Selim. I really enjoy you giving this to the new kid from Puerto Rico. So I think they will make a tremendous project for themselves. And I will invite you, you see, in May 10, they will present whatever they are going to produce. You see, May 10. Okay, so that will be.
I
But
assume you will send us the information. We would love to see that presentation. Is that going to be in English or
yes,
is it going to be in Spanish?
everything is in English in this project. Yeah,
Okay,
because
beautiful.
we push the student, you see, to the American system, university system. So that's the reason. That is in English. So I have one student. You see, she's new. She's only 13 years old, and she is here. Uh, uh, her name is Ana Lucia.
I see.
Yeah,
Hello.
yeah. Ana Lucia,
Pleasure to
can you
meet you.
open your mic? That's Ana Lucia, can you say something?
Hello, everyone. I'm really happy to be here, and thank you so much, Selim, for the excellent talk and all the resources you presented to us, because this always helps because, for example, I am also teaching other kids how to use MIT App Inventor and code apps specifically for caring for the environment and climate change. So all these resources work a lot for me.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Great. And also Ana Lucia, she's going to be our second speaker next Saturday. Okay, she is going to, because she is homeschooling. She's homeschooling, and she's going to tell us what she's learning about App Inventor by herself.
Beautiful, beautiful. Wow, wow. Looking forward to that.
So that, okay, any other question for the audience, teachers, the student? Yeah, here you have really basically all the material you need. But since our program is research oriented, well, you have to learn a lot about search, use ChatGPT and all those tools, modern tools, for whatever your project is going to be. Also, you see a big database right here, you see, so you can almost anything about has in my Inventor. So this is outstanding as Selim. This is a really outstanding material what the students are going to be able to have for their project. You see, I'm pretty much positive because I learned about, you see, the project with the people of Hong Kong. and I'm still, you see, looking for friends because I have good connection with the mainland China, is to expand their program into mainland China. I'm working in that, okay, basically right now, because they are really interested in expanding to other universities or school in mainland China, okay? And I'm going to do that for, and they are going to fund that particular project. It's going to be huge. You see, that's good. And I saw your statistic about about Taiwan. You see, all right, and also Hong Kong. You see, all the system, educational system, is already pushed forward with MIT App Inventor. So this is outstanding. I really appreciate that. But I think I need more questions from the audience. You see, this is a great opportunity. We are going to have this, we already taped your presentation, Selim, and it's going to be available in our webpage for everybody here in Puerto Rico. Okay, so that's really interesting, and also probably some other audience in Latin America. All right, yeah.
I have a
You
question.
has a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Jiria, and I would like for you to talk a little bit about the summer program, like at MIT. How is it going to work in general?
Sure.
Yeah.
So as you know, Marisol Diaz is organizing all of this. And I don't know every detail of how she is hoping to integrate the Puerto Rican group with the summit. But my understanding is as follows. 5 teachers from Puerto Rico and 10 students are going to come. The 5 teachers are going to work directly with me and my colleague, Robert. And we're going to train them in a project, in a platform called Future Makers. It's basically a platform where we make mentors very, very good so they can assist other people in a create-a-thon, in a hackathon, etc. So the teachers are going to be trained with us. The 10 students are going to be trained by our sister organization called the App Inventor Foundation. That's the nonprofit group that is outside MIT that is working with App Inventor. And the students, the 10 students, are going to be trained by the foundation people. Our training with the teachers is going to be done. Our part is going to be done in about 2 weeks in June. And then after that, we have another group in MIT called the STEP Lab. These are teacher educators, basically. And they will get some training on pedagogy and other aspects of, how to teach artificial intelligence, etc. In the meantime, the students are going to now start building their projects in App Inventor, getting ready for the summit. During the summit is 3 days on July 16, 17, and 18. That's a Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. What's going to happen is that people from all over the world are going to come. They're going to submit talks. They're going to apply to give presentations and talks. They're going to apply to give poster sessions. I think in the case of Puerto Rico, it's guaranteed that you have a slot. You're going to have, I think, both a poster slot and also maybe even a presentation. In the morning normally, and sometimes in the afternoon, we give workshops. So the App Inventor Ed team is going to give workshops very similar to our mentor training to other teachers from who are participating in the summit. My understanding is the 5 teachers we train at the same time are going to be offering workshops in Spanish. That's at least the initial thing that I heard. I don't know if that's going to be true, but basically you're going to work parallel to the Ed team in App Inventor, but now giving workshops of some sort that you decide in Spanish for our Spanish-speaking audience. And then towards the end, there's going to be talks and panels and presentations. I anticipate the Puerto Rican group is going to be very active in some of those panels. Does that answer your question, or did I miss your question? Were you asking about something else? Or?
That's perfect.
Okay,
Thank
super.
you.
I'm happy to hear that.
Thank you. Any other question with the audience? What about student questions?
I'm curious, and I don't. I'm not seeing anybody right now other than the few who have their cameras on. I don't know. Like, I wanted to ask, for example, how many people have done Scratch already? But either they can give me like a thumbs up icon, or they can just show me their faces and give me thumbs up. I'm curious how many people have done Scratch before from the students.
Nice.
Because
Scratch.
knowing Scratch is a huge accelerator for our project, because it's going to feel very similar, drag and drop blocks, etc.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, we had some students that they have been, but the majority they have not. Okay. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. It's not
Yeah.
a prerequisite. We're gonna start everything from beginning. Like, we're not gonna assume any background, but Scratch experience will give people some confidence. So that could be something they could do until they arrive at MIT. That'll be fantastic.
I think what we're going to do, oh, I'm sorry, Selim. What we are going to do with your advice, Selim, we are going to cover that in our program, okay? Scratch. So an introduction to Scratch and just how to do that. And a small project will be just a good beginning. Yeah.
Super. One distinction of Scratch and App Inventor, it's a very subtle one. It probably won't make sense until you're actually doing it, is App Inventor is what is called event-driven programming. Like in Scratch, you could do all your code, you have sprites, etc. You press the green button, and then everything happens following that, right? When you're designing something for a mobile app, everything is really driven by something that the user does. If the user presses a button, if the user moves a slider, etc. So that's sort of the difference. That's initially what people have a little bit of difficulty shifting their brains, because they're used to basically one button in Scratch do the whole thing. Whereas in App Inventor, you have many, many different components, each with their own event handlers. But we'll explain all of that when the time comes.
All right. Something happened with the Celine, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Mariana?
Yes, I had a question. Maybe could you provide a little bit more information of what the students would be doing in the program from Puerto Rico?
Sure.
Oh, but you are talking about the summer, or you are talking about during the spring?
In the summit.
In the summer. Yes. Okay. Yeah. That's for Celine. Yeah.
So we are assuming you guys are going to be arriving, like our start date is July 18th. And
Yes.
Marisol is probably working out those details for you, but right now the date given to us is July 18th. So July 18th, as I mentioned to you, students will go to work with the foundation people, and teachers are going to come and work with me and Robert. And we are assuming zero background in App Inventor. So if you want to come to MIT having tried App Inventor on your own and played with our tutorials, that's fantastic, but you don't have to. We're not assuming any App Inventor background. The teacher you're going to have is a fantastic teacher from Singapore. She is going to take people from basically zero knowledge to become competition ready. So, and you're going to basically go through some curricula. I don't know what the foundation is deciding on their curricula, but they're going to have parts in which there's a lot of, in addition to all the, App Inventor work, there's going to be discussions. When they're studying AI, there's going to be ethics discussions, like what are the harms AI can do to society, what are some benefits, etc. So it's going to be very, I think, well balanced. Foundation is very famous for creating balanced curriculum. There's a lot of discussions, and in addition to hands-on. So, so I don't know all the details, but probably when you look at our curricula online, you'll see a lot of the curricula there is going to be similar to what you guys are going to be studying in terms of, becoming good at App Inventor. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Mariana, perfect. Any other question for Selim? Yes? Yeah, it has been, Selim, an outstanding presentation and vision of what you are doing in MIT App Inventor group. Also, the history is very interesting. I like that. And well, and the future, right? It's outstanding. And for my team here, you see, we are going to, I'm going to give them, if you want to listen, you can stay or you can really leave the meeting. Yeah, I had to be, you see, I had to be in Boston next Saturday.
Oh, wow.
And the coming, well, I have a very interesting announcement, but I cannot do it because the people in Boston are going to do it for me. Okay? Yes. And the second, on the next Saturday, I'm going to be in Lima, Peru, giving a talk about summer, my program. Okay? It's so I won't be present, you see, in the meeting as I'm today. But I have my assistant, who is Barak Chungara. He is from Nepal, but right now, Barak, he is a graduate student at Syracuse University, you see, right now. So he's close to us, okay? But I was, you see, I was in a visit to Nepal as a Fulbright specialist. And Barak organized everything I did for 2 weeks in Nepal. So he's an outstanding organizer, an outstanding person. So he will replace me as the director in these two weeks. I will be probably busy at the time at 9 o'clock Eastern time. Okay, busy doing my talk and busy doing some other stuff in Boston. Okay, so that's for the people, but everybody can find me in my email. Okay, no matter where I am over the earth, I will answer the email. All right, so that will be for our program, and everybody has the agenda that cover every week exactly what we are going to do. So we are going to talk about that in the coming weeks. All right. And also everybody has an outstanding background about MIT App Inventor. So probably they already say, well, I'm going to work in this, I'm going to work in that. So you, Selim, has given us a tremendous first time meeting. Okay, the orientation is outstanding, and really also what we expect from everybody is also outstanding. Remember that the teacher, you see, that what we are going to follow up after the summer in Puerto Rico is to expand the program, MIT in their school and their communities. So that's something. And also I use the student as assistant for my project. So also they will be, you see, spreading the word of application MIT App Inventor. So that is going to be an explosion in a new audience. All right, that's perfect. So thank you very much to everybody, and I will be ready for your feedback if you don't want to make public here in private in my email. All right, thank you much, and have a good day in Boston, Selim. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All the best.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
The Puerto Rico weather is beautiful at this time, right? Compared to Boston, but maybe one of these days you will come to Puerto Rico and I will show you everything around here. All right.
Hope so. Pleasure.
Thank you much.
All
Take
the
care.
best.
Bye bye. Bye bye, guys. Yes. Yeah. Let me see. Yeah.